All right, welcome. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, we have a lot to get into, some breaking news, and also, by the way, happy Tuesday to everybody. So the Philadelphia Eagles went ahead and made a trade for cornerback Josiah Scott, former fourth-round pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look, I don't know much about Josiah Scott. We did trade a 2023 sixth-round pick and then also cornerback Jamison Houston. But I don't know much about Josiah Scott. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But what I will say is this, from everything that I've heard from the Jacksonville Jaguar fan board, he's a starting caliber player. He's a starting caliber slot player. Big Play Slay, welcome to the house, my man. Tell me what you think about the recent trade for cornerback Josiah Scott. Also, I have not been with you guys since the Eagles signed defensive end Ryan Kerrigan, obviously long time, very, very highly productive player for the Washington football team. And he is now in Philadelphia, guys. And he's going to bring some competition. He's going to bring some heat, going to bring some fire to that defensive line. King Miro, welcome to the house, my friend. Eagles making moves, but is it enough? It is not enough. It is not enough. I still think they're not done. Big Play says, what's up, homie? Not much, man. How you doing? How you doing? Been feeling a little bit iffy the last couple days. I got to be honest with you, but I'm good. I'm glad to be back on the air with you guys. That is for sure. So let's talk about this. What does it all mean? Right? I mean, we know that Jeffrey Lurie. I was listening to Jody Mack and John McMullen, on their Birds 365 podcast, and they were talking about how, obviously Jeffrey Lurie has referred to this year as a transition year. But I will say this, what is that? What does that mean? I think a lot of people think it means that, they're in a rebuilding phase, when the truth of the matter is that the recent moves that they made, and I'm not going to say that Josiah Scott is indicative of the Eagles, wanting to win the division, but the Ryan Kerrigan was, in my opinion. Reason being is we didn't really need a defensive end. We didn't really need Ryan Kerrigan on this team. Big Play Slay says, I like the trade, but I don't like it in the sense that he's a 5'9" cornerback and he was compared to Devante Maddox. Yeah. And I heard that too. And I have two things on this. Yeah, he was compared to Devante Maddox, pretty much probably mainly for his size. I go back to, when it comes to Devante Maddox, I kind of go back to his rookie year. I try to. And the reason being is he played on the outside and he played a little bit of safety in his rookie year, and he was great. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was definitely better than what we were getting, and he was kind of all over the field, had some great closing speed. I will say this, I'm a little bit more optimistic with Josiah Scott just because I believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars do a better job of scouting DBs than the Philadelphia Eagles have been in the past 5 years or so. Like it's just true. It's just factual. But I also don't think that they're done. I think Steven Nelson very much still is in play. And I expect them to either go that route, maybe trade for a starting cornerback player or cornerback opposite Darius Slay, or even what's his name? Garyon Conley as well. I mean, the good thing is that Jonathan Gannon has a history of doing a decent job developing younger cornerbacks. So King Mara says, yeah, we got short cornerbacks. Yeah, we do, unfortunately. Big Play Slay says the trade shows you that they have very little confidence in Devante Maddox with the depth they have in place. I heard that. Look, I heard that too. And it's possible. It's possible that this trade shows that they have very little confidence in him. Or I go back to the fact that, Jonathan Gannon, obviously coming from the Mike Zimmer tree, we might see some cover 4 guys. And so there's a possibility of them still liking Devante Maddox and keeping Darius Slay, Devante Maddox, Let's say Josiah Scott. I'm sure it's going to be a cornerback competition. Obviously, as Nick Sirianni has said all along, it's going to be a competition at every position, which I absolutely love. And then you have your opposite guy, who's probably not on this roster yet. They really need to look for some offensive linemen, though, instead of defensive linemen. You think so? So let's look at the offensive line for a second here. You got Jordan Mailata, who showed a lot of promise last year. Who knows what they're going to do with Andre Dillard. I have honestly lost faith in Andre Dillard. I don't think here's the thing. I mean, the one thing that he struggled with was the bull rush, and that's power. And you need to be able to handle bull rushes and power defensive linemen well, like that. I mean, I feel like that's first and foremost, that goes firsthand for any offensive lineman. If you can't do that, then you're probably not going to make the team. And that's exactly what I think about Andre Dillard. But let's look at Jordan Mailata. Jordan Mailata showed a lot of promise. Probably will win the left tackle spot unless they bring in somebody, and I don't see them doing that. And left guard, honestly, it's going to be Isaac Samalu and probably Landon Dickerson, depending on his health, competing for that position. And then you got center, obviously Jason Kelsey. You got right guard Brandon Brooks coming back. You got Lane Johnson coming back. Look, I mean, I get it. I'm not high on the health over the last 2 years of Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson. But I mean, you have Landon Dickerson. If he develops well, he can come in and perform at either guard spot or center. Jack Driscoll is another guy that we can't forget about because he made a lot of promise and progress last season in his rookie season. So there's some good depth. There's some good depth along the offensive line that we do have. Do I think that they need to bring in somebody else still? Yeah, probably. But King, I think that there's a lot of promise there. So the other thing I want to talk about too is what is Ryan Kerrigan going to bring to this team? Is he going to win a starting spot opposite Brandon Graham, or is it going to be Josh Sweat and then Ryan Kerrigan thrown in as a rotational guy? Who knows? Or is it going to be Derek Barnett? I think it's great that we brought Ryan Kerrigan in for that exact reason. It's going to bring a lot of heat and fire to that competitive defensive line room, and we'll see. I worry about Brandon Graham hitting the downslope. He is getting older. He wasn't as good against the run last year as he had been in the past, so we'll just have to see. And Fletcher Cox got injured. AJ Styles, welcome to the chat, my man. Welcome to the chat. Happy Tuesday. King says, I like Josh Sweat, but I feel like he gets injured too much. Yeah, I mean, he did get injured for a period of time last season, but he also finished with 8.5 sacks. So, I mean, that's good production from Josh Sweat, especially not even just not being on the field for most of the defensive snaps. So, I mean, it's going to be a big year for Derek Barnett. It's going to be a big year for Josh Sweat, who has been progressing each year since he's been drafted. So that's good news for us. We'll have to see. It's going to be a big year for these young rookies too. I mean, honestly, I would love to see the defensive tackle out of USC that we drafted show some moves and show some flashes of starter caliber player, or of starting caliber production. And then also Milton Williams, who we drafted with a 3rd round pick. I want to see him flash as well. So, but in my honest opinion, guys, I think that they still need to go out and get a linebacker, and I still think that they need to go out and get a starting caliber cornerback. I think Steven Nelson should be high on their priority list right now, and I do believe that we're going to have some cap room free up post June 1st. So that's going to be good moves too. That's going to be good news as well. And I wonder, I like, and this brings me back to the Zach Ertz thing as well. Is like, are they going to find a trade partner for this guy, or are they going to release him past June 1st? I mean, obviously he's continuing to be a bitter crybaby, and he's not going to show up for any workouts whatsoever with the Philadelphia Eagles, as he stated. So, at some point, you have to just call a spade and get rid of the guy. AJ Styles says, how many quarterbacks do we have? We have 3 currently right now. We have Jalen Hurts, Joe Flacco, and Jamie Newman. Speaking of Jamie Newman, I think that was a phenomenal undrafted rookie free agent signing. He had a lot of praise coming into the draft. Expected him, like some scouts were calling him a real sleeper, and possibly if he stayed one more year in college, we would be looking at him as a potential first round quarterback. I mean, those are some of the things that some of the scouts had said. And so I think him coming in to compete with Jalen Hurts, let's say Jalen Hurts, I think Jamie Newman is going to be a guy for us to watch, especially as he, develops here, because if Jalen Hurts does not do what we hope he will do, Jamie Newman could definitely rise to the cream of the crop. Big Play Slay says, other than Slay, there's not a cornerback over 6 foot for the Eagles. Grayland Arnold is over 6 feet, but he's on the practice squad. Yeah. Well, there were quite a few people that were high on Grayland Arnold when he was signed. And so we'll see what he does. I do think that how Jonathan Gannon decides to develop these cornerbacks and these defensive backs as a whole is going to be really telling. I think that's going to be a huge factor that we have to think about. And that's why I'm glad that he brought in some familiar faces too, like Anthony Harris. And also, like linebacker Eric Wilson. I think that those may be 2 key pieces in this defense moving forward. And I also think, just going back to the linebacker position real quick, is we need Eric Wilson to pan out. We really do. And then for some reason he's slipping off my head. But the linebacker that we had a lot of praise for last year, Jesus, he's right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of him. Oh boy, great. It's one of those days. Anyway, I think you guys know who I'm talking about. And it's gonna be important. What this linebacker, his development, what this linebacker group looks like moving forward. So, King Miro says, where do I think Zach Ertz will go? I think he's going to wind up in Arizona, whether trade or release and sign. I think he's going to wind up in Arizona as an Arizona Cardinal. I really do. Arizona has shown Alex Singleton. There it is. Thank you, Big Play Slay. Alex Singleton. Yes, I think this linebacker group is going to be very contingent on the development of Alex Singleton. And for me, he was one of my bright spots last year when it came to that defense. So I'm excited about the development of Alex Singleton and how him and Eric Wilson fit into this defense. I think that's going to be really, really imperative, honestly. Big Play Slay says, if they don't get either Steven Nelson or Richard Sherman through the market, I assume they keep the guys they have, make them compete, and get some pressure off of them because of the D-line being so good. Well, our hope is that the defensive line is going to be so good. I really, really want Milton Williams, and I really want the USC defensive tackle to pan out. Tufuofu, wherever. I always say that because I don't know how to say his name yet. Patrick J probably can say his name better than I can. He's better with names than I am. Prediction for the Eagles 2021 record. I think I'm going to go 8-9. 8-9 or 9-8. 9-8. I mean, I went over them the other day. I went over the games the other day, and I'm probably going to go over it again before the Eagles start, or before the start of the season. So, Enter Zone, welcome to the house, my man. I haven't seen you in quite some time. So, who's starting week 1? Hurts? Yes, I believe so. Big Play Slay says, I really urge to keep Jones and Douglas, especially now that we have Jonathan Gannon. It would have been a lot easier for these cornerbacks to develop under Gannon because he's a better coach than Schwartz. I agree. I'm getting that sense too. And look, guys, in life and in jobs in general, relatability is key. You know what I mean? And I think Jonathan Gannon from the very get-go relates to his players better. And same thing with Nick Sirianni. I think that's the one thing that may be being overlooked with these coaches that we brought in here. This offseason, regardless of how young they are, they relate to their players. They're excited for their players. And they don't seem jaded and bitter. And it might be because they're young, but relatability is key. Trayvon Grimes for the Philadelphia Eagles, AJ Styles says, yeah, guys, by the way, I want to talk about Trayvon Grimes. There's no reason why this guy can't compete for an ex wide receiver position. There really isn't. I expect him to be on the squad, come week 1. And I think he's going to compete with Travis Fulgham. I really do. I think that is the key. Obviously you want that 6'4", 223-pound guy at the X wide receiver spot. And you'd have Devante Smith at Z, and you'd have Jalen Reagor in the slot at Y. So I really expect Trayvon Grimes to compete with Travis Fulgham. I do think he'll be lining up behind Travis Fulgham if Travis Fulgham wins that spot. I don't see how Trayvon Grimes doesn't make this team, honestly. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can go blow a goat. I'm just kidding. Big Play Slay says, I'll be honest, I don't think Hurts will pan out, but I also want to give it time because he only played 4 games and the Eagles averaged the most amount of yards through the air in his time playing. That is true. And I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he'll pan out. I'm not entirely convinced, obviously, through 4 games. I don't have a big enough sample size, but I hope that he pans out. My worry is the 2021 or the 2022 quarterback draft class. I do worry about the quarterback draft class, but then again, I don't think the Eagles are completely out of Deshaun Watson rumors either. I mean, I'm not going to write that off. I'm not going to write that away. I think they're still monitoring that situation. Of course, there's no. I mean, it seems like it might go away, is from what I'm hearing. I don't know the entire particulars of it, but it seems like all these teams that are monitoring the Deshaun Watson situation are waiting for a pin to drop. King Miro says Trayvon Grimes wants to be the next Mike Evans. Yeah, I hope he is. Look, he's 6'4". He's got downfield deep threat ability, and he also wins contested catches. So he already has potential. He already has a higher ceiling than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, in my opinion. And he's got the connection with Brian Johnson, who is obviously our quarterback's coach, as we all know now, former offensive coordinator for Florida Gators. So DB is a legend. Big Play Slay, you're a legend, brother. You're a legend, my friend. I don't think the Eagles' conviction to Jalen Hurts is as we see it. We did try to trade up for Zach Wilson, and we're still monitoring the Deshaun Watson obligations. Yeah. Yes, we are. And yes, we did. We tried to trade it for Zach Wilson. I don't think I'm ever going to live that one down. I mean, it's not like another team had the ability to trade up to 2 and then we missed out on it. Like, it's not like that. Like, it's not that detrimental for me. but the fact that we knew that they were trying to trade up for Zach Wilson, and they would have done the move, and they would have moved up to 3 if the Jets weren't going to take him, kind of bugs me a bit, because I honestly, in my opinion, I think Zach Wilson's going to be better than what's his face. So apparently, I'm not able to remember names today. King Miro, you know who else is 6'4"? DK Metcalf. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Is he 6'4" or is he 6'3"? I think he's 6'3", honestly. Big Play says, do you think the Eagles will sign either Steven Nelson or Richard Sherman? I don't think Richard Sherman's going to come. I don't think Richard Sherman's going to come back to or come to Philly. I think it's either Steven Nelson or somebody else, honestly. Brought to you by Bang. Just kidding. That'd be cool if I was sponsored by Bang. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. My new favorite flavor is their new flavor, cherry vanilla Coke. AJ Styles says Ryan Kerrigan. Yeah, bringing up the Ryan Kerrigan guys. How do you guys feel about Ryan Kerrigan? I think it has the potential to be nasty. A nasty trio there with Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, and Ryan Kerrigan. The thing is how is it gonna pan out? You know what I mean? Is Fletcher Cox gonna be able to stay healthy? Is Brandon Graham gonna lose a step, or are they gonna be motivated by the fire and the heat that Ryan Kerrigan's gonna bring to this team? Enter Zone says Eagles are in trouble this season. I wouldn't be look. I don't think any team in the NFC East is in trouble. Reason being is because I think that the NFC East was so bad this past season that all they have to do is win 1 or 2 more games, more than they did last season, and it looks good. But I think each team in the NFC East is going to be better, significantly better than they were last season. So that's. I think the Giants are in trouble because honestly, I have more faith in the Eagles, Cowboys, and Washington football team than the Giants. I think the Giants need to really get their shit together. Big Play Slay says it's always cool sitting down talking birds with you. Hey, I agree. Thank you, man. Yeah, no, I absolutely love talking birds with you guys. I'm sorry that I haven't been as consistent lately as I was in the past. I'm gonna try and get back to that. I've got schedules. I've got my schedule. I'm trying to maneuver and manage as we go along here. King Miro says, I don't think so, to be honest. You don't think so what? Jalen Hurts me. Welcome to the house, my man. Happy Tuesday. Hey, DB and everyone. Missed you guys. I missed you too, buddy. AJ Styles is excited about Landon Dickerson. Yeah, Landon Dickerson, man. As long as he can get healthy and stay healthy, he's going to be a big mauler. He really is. He's going to be. I mean, his development is also going to be huge, huge for this offensive line moving forward. So yeah, we need him to get right. Jack Driscoll, look again. Jack Driscoll, I think we need to bring his name back up because his development is going to be huge. His development is going to be good. Jalen Hurts me says, been working, bro. How are you? I'm good. I think he was talking to King Miro, but I'm glad you're good, Jalen. Where's Patrick at today? Working too? Patrick, I believe, is working today. It is Tuesday. Mondays and Tuesdays are his busiest days. So, we'll see. We'll see if I can get him back on. I sent him a message. I let him know I was coming on. And So we'll see if he, and I also sent him an invite. So we'll see if he jumps on or not. He can either come in and comment, or he can also just jump in and we can do our dual thing like we usually do. But Jalen Hurts me. What do you think about the trade for Josiah Scott? What do you think about the trade for Josiah Scott? What I've seen from the fan boards of the Jacksonville Jaguar fans is that they have been saying he is a starting caliber slot corner. And I think that's good. Look, I think that's good. I think that's good news. Look, he is 5'9". But that doesn't mean he can't play. Doesn't mean he can't ball. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at safety LaMarcus Joyner, for example. He can, he's under 5'10" and he can ball. So it's always a possibility that these guys, you don't have to be 6'1", 210 pounds or 217 pounds or whatever to be a good cornerback in the NFL. You can be a 5'9" guy. I just wouldn't prefer you on the outside, of course. Big Play Slay says the way we're heading into this season is almost like the 2017 season. A lot of criticism and doubt. And we're going to shock some people. Granted, our schedule is easy, so we're going to win games. I've had that same feeling too. And look, like I said, the Eagles are not done. The Eagles are definitely not done. Post June 1st, we signed LeGarrette Blount in June. You know what I mean? In 2017. So there's still moves that can be made. I thought about this, to be completely honest with you. I wonder if Steven Nelson has already committed to his team, but he's just waiting for the June 1st deadline. So that question mark team will have enough cap room to sign him. And God forbid, I am hoping that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts me says, I don't know if it was you or Patrick that said this, but I want Ertz gone for Hicks. He's not going to report, I heard, to us. It was me who talked about it on the other day. But it was honestly a conversation that Patrick J and I had off air, interestingly enough, and it sounds really good. Patrick J brought that up, and my personal opinion is this. I think if we can do that and sign Steven Nelson, and then with the trade of Josiah Scott, I think that those are good moves. I think the defense looks a lot better because you got to take into account bringing in safety Anthony Harris, bringing in linebacker Eric Wilson, and then Alex Singleton's development, and then you add Jordan Hicks to that mix. And then you also bring Steven Nelson into that mix. Like, man, it's not bad. Not bad. King says, no, we not. Eagles going 0-18. The Eagles are not going 0-18. The Eagles are not going 0-18. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Nick Sirianni would be fired in 1 year, along with every other coach. And this entire team would be blown the fuck up. The Eagles are not going 0-18. The fans wouldn't allow it. The fans wouldn't allow it. And what do I mean by that? I would mean that we would rip off Howie Roseman's head if it looked like we were going to go 0-18. We would rip off his head. Not even kidding. Like we would pitchfork and set fires in the city for trades to make this team better before we went 0-18. Like, no. I like, you don't tank. I'm sorry. Like Philly, like losing the last game of the season is an exception. The reason why is because it was the difference between pick 9 and pick 6. And like Doug was already they probably already decided to fire Doug at that point anyway. And so like it didn't matter. But Philly teams, Philly sports figures, Philly icons, you don't tank. You know, just take Rocky, for example. Underdog. Never, ever. And that's why, because Rocky is the vibe of that city. Rocky is the vibe of that city. Rocky will always be the vibe of that city. You know what I mean? That's why the Eagles will never tank, because if they're considered underdogs, then we garner an underdog power to overtake the much more superior team and win. Big Play Slay says Howie's on point this offseason. That scares me a little because I don't want him GMing this team, but I'm okay as long as Nick Sirianni's inception is in full effect. LOL. Look, I think that, like I talked about, relatability. I think Nick Sirianni and Howie get along a lot better than he did with Doug, and I think that that's why they are working well together. And I think that because of that fact, we're going to see a much more smoother communication from the front office, or at least between head coach and GM. And I think that is so good moving forward. Big Play Slay says our motto doesn't reference tanking. Exactly. Toxic Falcon says Rocky ain't real. Rocky is so real in the minds and hearts of the Philadelphia Eagles fans and in the people of the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. So don't you ever say that again. Just kidding. Toxic Falcons, welcome to the chat, my man. Happy Tuesday. Hillary Cummings, hi there, DB. That's my mom, everybody, making a surprising visit to the channel. Hi, Mom. Big Play Slay says Sirianni changed Howie's mind on things a little, and now Howie's a little more open to doing things that help the team, but doing things that fits the team. Yeah, no, and I think that is exactly right. I think that's exactly right, and I think that that's helpful moving forward. Like trading guys, we just brought in 3 different defensive backs, or at least 2. We brought in cornerback Nate Meters or Metters or however you say his name, and then we just traded for Josiah Scott. And Philly 500 talked about this a little bit. We traded a 6th rounder and Jamison Houston to acquire Josiah Scott, and the Philadelphia Eagles love 6th rounders. So you know what I mean? So it's like Howie's clearly trying to bring in the best competition opportunities that he possibly can for this coaching staff and Jonathan Gannon, and Nick Sirianni. So that is good moves. That is good news moving forward. And then you also can't forget about cornerback Shaquille Taylor, who we brought in a couple months ago, who was familiar with Jonathan Gannon as well. So he's going to be competing as well. Hillary Cummings says, I love you. I love you too, Mom. I love you too. Big Play Slay says, wait, is that actually your mom? Yeah, it is actually my mom. That was actually my mom. Toxic Falcon says, if any teams go 0-18, you got to get rid of the coaching staff and players. Exactly. That means boom, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson, all of them. Just get rid of all of them. I don't want any of them anymore. Move them for the best that you can get. Big Play Slay says, hi there, Mama DB. King says, we are all his fans. I'm fans of you guys too. You guys being in here, week in and week out, as consistently as you do, it really does. It makes me feel good. It does really make me feel good. King says, no way. Yes way. But yeah, guys. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this team moving forward. I really do hope that Jalen Hurts pans out. Him knowing Brian Johnson, from a very young age. I think it points to signs of he has every opportunity to succeed this year. They're obviously not giving him more years than just this year as of now, but he really does. He has to come out and he has to perform. And honestly, there are different media guys who talk about this. Like, what is the expectation of Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts needs to come out and perform better than Carson Wentz, or it's a failure. It's a failure. And I say that because Carson Wentz was our guy. Carson Wentz was our guy. Nikki, welcome back to the channel, my friend. It's good to see you. Happy Tuesday. Rocky may not have been real, but he inspired. But the fact that he inspired millions was real. Yeah, he inspired millions, and he continues to inspire millions. I mean, he inspires people. His story. Sylvester Stallone did a phenomenal job with that story. One, and he did a phenomenal acting job in that movie, too. And he doesn't just inspire people from Philadelphia. He inspires people all around the world. You know what I mean? And so it's the classic underdog story. And the fact that Rocky was from Philadelphia is exactly the same reason why we would never go 0-18, because we would, as underdogs, we would find a way to defeat the much more superior team. It's kind of the reason why we almost beat the Patriots in 2006 with AJ Feely. You know what I mean? Like, we did better than every other team when Tom Brady and Randy Moss were blowing shit up. That's the only reason in that week leading up to that game that I had faith that we would really put up a really great game. Big Play Slay says, I think my Lakers are winning it all. You know what? The Suns are going to be really good. The Suns have a good shot. The 76ers have a good shot. The Lakers have a good shot. It's going to be interesting. Jalen Hurts me says, I have Suns or Clippers, to be honest, in West, hoping Sixers in East, as long as it's not the Nets. Yeah, fuck the Nets. Nikki Cunningham says, so how is the last two new acquisitions being received by Philly sports? I love the Ryan Kerrigan signing. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. I think he's going to bring some heat. I think he's going to bring some competition. I think he's going to bring some production to the defensive line. Maybe even more so than what Chris Long did in 2017. I think that, look, Ryan Kerrigan's still performing at a high level. There's been a little bit of drop off over the last couple of years, but he's still performing at a high level, was obviously a great mentor to that young defensive line in Washington. And I expect him to be exactly that for our new defensive linemen, our rookie defensive linemen, our rookie defensive edge rushers, and things of that nature. The trade for cornerback Josiah Scott from the Jacksonville Jaguars, I have some excitement around the potential of him. I've listened to and I've read some of what the Jacksonville Jaguar fans say about Josiah Scott, and they think he's a starting caliber slot cornerback who will come in and compete with Devante Maddox. But in my personal opinion, as I mentioned before, if Jonathan Gannon, coming from the Mike Zimmer tree, he could possibly bring a cover 4, looks to this defense, and I think that would suit well with Devante Maddox and also Josiah Scott and Darius Slay and whoever other cornerback they're going to bring in. I do believe that they're going to bring in another one. When it comes to passing downs, like third and long, and things like that. So we'll just have to see. Big Play Slay says, Jalen hurts me. The Clippers scare me the most in the West, but I have my Lakers making it out of the West and the Sixers in the East. Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Big Play Slay on this one. Dallas Goedert, Pro Bowler. We'll see. Look, I have excitement about his potential. I always have, just like every single one of us. But, I think the only question mark surrounding Dallas Goedert is how does he do with full-time starter snaps? And with that said, will he be able to stay healthy with full-time starter snaps as well? Because, and I'm not saying that he's an injury-prone guy. That's certainly not what I'm saying, because he hasn't been. But the narrative does change once you get, let's say, 1,000 snaps or 900 snaps in the season. You know what I mean? The narrative will certainly change, and it's going to increase now that we're going to have a 17-game schedule, 17-game, 18-week. You know what I mean? Big play Slay. Jalen Hurts says big play Slay. I kind of think Lakers getting 8 seed is better. Weirdly, I feel like they match up better against the Jazz and Suns. Nice, cool. I haven't been watching a lot of basketball lately, so I can't really comment on that. But I'll let you guys fill me in and talk to me about it. Big play Slay says Nikki Cunningham. I would say to that they see it as rotational depth and competition for the coaches to develop, and in Ryan Kerrigan's case, to mentor the younger guys. Yep, exactly. Big play Slay, you and I are like thinking on the same wavelength today. I love it. Jalen Urshby says, what do you guys all think about Jordan Hicks? Ever since he was available, I want him mentoring our younger guys. $3 million salary is cheap for Hicks and can fit with Nelson, I think. Yeah, no, Jalen, I agree. I definitely agree. I was one of those guys who didn't want to let Jordan Hicks go a few years ago, and so I would love to see him back in Philadelphia mentoring our younger linebackers. I really would. King Miro says we turn this into a basketball channel now. I mean, it's whatever you guys want to make it. I mean, obviously the main game is the Philadelphia Eagles and football, but we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. AJ Styles says Josiah Scott, Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I think he's going to be good. I have a lot of I have good feelings about this cornerback. And also, just to bring this back up for those who didn't hear it, I have faith in Josiah Scott because the Jacksonville Jaguar fans are saying that he has starter caliber potential, in the slot. And also, I just feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars do a better job scouting their DBs, than the Philadelphia Eagles do. And so I think that's going to have some carryover. And Jonathan Gannon, and thirdly, Jonathan Gannon is known for his DB development. So that's another thing as well. Is Malik Hooker still on the market? That's a good question to ask. Is Malik Hooker still on the market? For some reason, I don't think he is. Big Play Slay says, I'm going to be very happy for you when you get to 100 subs. You've been putting out great content into the universe. I try, man. I try. I to be honest with you, and I appreciate that, man. This channel actually started with a rant in my car driving home. And it was Howie Roseman. Obviously, I was complaining about Howie Roseman and how he and Carson Wentz. It was before Carson Wentz got benched, and I was on a rant about how Howie Roseman, like, how can you not be in line and have parallel thinking to what your coaches want? Why aren't you listening to them? Blah, 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 blah. So and then it just kind of took off from there, because each new week last season, there was something new being said about Carson Wentz. There was new blame. There was Jalen Hurts starts, and that's exciting, and so I can't wait to get there either. And obviously, it's going to be thanks to you guys who've been there since the very beginning. Jalen Hurtsby says, I think the biggest underrated acquisition for us was Joe Flacco. Good mentor for Hurts. Well, here's the thing. I know for a fact that Patrick J and I do not underrate that acquisition. We talked about it at length. I mean, Joe Flacco has always been a cerebral guy. Again, it's a word that Patrick and I love to use. And mainly because, like, whenever you get a cerebral player, it's an important thing to bring into your locker room. A guy who's really smart, a guy who has seen it all, and has won at a very high level and has led a team to the playoffs over and over and over again. And obviously now I'm referring to Joe Flacco. And so yes, I personally don't underrate that acquisition whatsoever. I think Jalen Hurts' development is going to be contingent upon Joe Flacco. I mean, obviously they're going to compete. Joe Flacco is probably going to be the second string quarterback on this team, and it is a 1-year deal. So we'll just have to. I believe it was 1 year. Yeah, it was 1-year deal, and I agree with you, Jalen. I think he's going to be huge for Jalen Hurts' development. I really do. AJ Sile says, "How do you feel about Devante Smith?" I absolutely love it. From everything I hear as far as rookie camps are concerned, he is definitely he looks like the best wide receiver we've had since a young Deshaun Jackson or Jeremy Maclin, and I expect him to be even better than that because of the fact that he just does everything well. I am so excited for Devante Smith. And speaking of Devante Smith, Chad Ochocinco was asked who he thinks his rookie of the year is going to be, and Chad Ochocinco said Devante Smith. And on that note, guys, Chad Ochocinco had T.O. obviously on his show, as he always does, just the other day, speaking about who he thinks will win the NFC East, and he said the Philadelphia Eagles. Terrell Owens said the Philadelphia Eagles because he has faith in Jalen Hurts. I don't take that with a grain of salt. I take that as like a nugget of salt because if there's anybody who is well known for criticizing quarterbacks, it is Terrell Owens. And when Terrell Owens has good things to say about a quarterback, sometimes you might want to listen. Yeah, he is. He last visited Dolphins and talking to Colts. Good. I'm glad that he's still on the market. I really think that the Eagles should still look at Malik Hooker. I really do, with his familiarity with Jonathan Gannon and all of the above. So I hope he makes it to June 1st. King Miro says, I still got my Carson Wentz jersey. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to get rid of your Carson Wentz jersey. I wouldn't. I didn't get a Carson Wentz jersey, honestly. I didn't get a Carl. I have a B-Doc jersey, and I have a J-Tri. I have all the old ones. So I want to get a Miles Sanders jersey, and I am this close to getting a Devante Smith jersey. I really am, and a Devante Smith shirt because his T-shirts that just came out look awesome. Nikki Cunningham says, I honestly believe Wentz had some very serious leadership problems. Yeah, I think he did. Too. And that's another reason to be excited about Jalen Hurts. These guys just gravitate towards him. And it started from the very get-go. And I don't think I've read about a player having this much effect from a leadership point of view at the quarterback position for the Philadelphia Eagles in a while. Honestly, this guy Jalen just seems like an absolute veteran leader, a mastermind in the department of leadership. He just seems like he's been bringing that, and the guys gravitate toward him, and that's what you need most importantly. Big Play Slay says, I don't think the addition of Joe Flacco was good for us. Yes, he is a mentor for Hurts, but his incentives and guaranteed money takes away from what we're going to be giving to cornerbacks in free agency if we do it. For right now, yeah. I expect I think we're going to get a little bit more room post June 1st. And, we're going to be able to free up some cap when we get rid of Zach Ertz. So there's that. I'll stand by what I'll stand by what I said. I mean, I think that it was a good move because of his experience, So DB, how has work been? Can always expect you to ask me that, Jalen. Just kidding. It's been. Let's just say that. Nikki Cunningham says, I have everyone beat in the bad Eagles jersey world. I still have a DGB. Ooh, no, you don't. No, Nikki. No, you did not get a Dorial Green Beckham jersey. Did you? Ugh. Why? What went through your thought process when you did that? I mean, hey, I was excited about the move. I was excited about the potential of the move, but I wouldn't have gone out and bought a Dorial Green Beckham jersey. Wow. Yeah, no, I can't top that. Can't top that. Big Play Slay says YouTube is acting up right now. That's not good. I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see what's going on. What's going on YouTube? Jalen Hurtsme says, I still have Donovan McNabb jersey. Yeah, me and my brother had a couple Donovan McNabb jerseys back in the day. Also, as far as jerseys are concerned, me and my brother also had a Terrell Owens jersey that we set on fire in our backyard while the parents weren't home. And then we also peed on it. Oh, Terrell Owens. Jalen Hurtsme says, sorry for asking. I just wanted to check in with you, bro. I'm leaving my job and going to work for a different company. So Nikki Cunningham, I was a DGB fan going into his draft class, and when we got him, I was a little too excited. Hey, no, so was I. I mean, 100%. Like, I was really excited for Dorial Green Beckham coming out of the draft. I wanted the Philadelphia Eagles to draft him. And so when we got him, I'm right on board with you there. So I want to find a Paul Turner jersey. So if any in the chat knows where I can get one, hit me up. You heard it there first, guys. You heard it there first. She's looking for a Paul Turner jersey. So, the other thing I want to talk about, let's talk about this. What cornerback prospects are there in the draft next year? Because we're going to have 3 first-round picks. We're going to be able to get a cornerback. With one of those first-round picks, we might as well talk about it. I know it's a little way too early, but hey, I actually don't think it is too early, because it's not like we're going to have an awesome secondary all of a sudden. So let's talk about that. And then, and I also want to talk a little bit more about Trayvon Grimes. Are you guys excited about Trayvon Grimes coming to the Philadelphia Eagles, being signed as an undrafted rookie free agent? I am. I think he really honestly does. I think he has the shot to beat out Travis Fulgham. And I'll just say this. I honestly think the Eagles are going to keep 6 wide receivers, and I think it's going to be Devante Smith, and I think it's going to be Quez Watkins, and then I think in the slot it's going to be Jalen Reagor and then Greg Ward, and then on the outside I think it's either going to be Travis Fulgham and Trayvon Grimes. So there's your wide receiver depth chart. There's your wide receiver depth chart. Or they could keep 7 and they could keep Quez Watkins and John Hightower, but I just don't, I don't know if I see that happening. And obviously that kicks J.J. Arcega-Whiteside off the roster. And a couple others as well. The Eagles currently have 10 wide receivers on Nikki Cunningham says, I'm hearing people talk about Stingley, but watching him get torched by Smith has soured that for me. Yeah, and he's obviously right up there. He's obviously right up there with the number 1 rankings in next year's draft class. So, But what does that say? Does that say more about Stingley, or does it say more about Smith? You know, is Devante Smith beating out the number 1 ranked cornerback, or is Stingley overrated? So we'll have to see. But with that said, guys, look, I don't think the Eagles are done. I think the Eagles are going to bring in even another cornerback. In fact, a defensive back, one, either a safety or a cornerback. We'll just have to see. But obviously, we need them to bring in a cornerback like Steven Nelson. And that's why I really hope that Steven Nelson is the guy that we go ahead and bring in. I don't think we carry 7 wide receivers because we want. Yeah, because one of our running backs. Yeah, and you mentioned that last time you were on, Nikki, too, and I agree with you. Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, he's gonna be great. I'm so excited for Kenny Gainwell. I really am. I think our running back coach Jamal Singleton, and this is no shot at Deuce Staley, obviously, but I think he's gonna get Miles Sanders back on track with his receiving ability. So, but Kenny Gainwell, yes, 6 wide receivers and either 4 running backs, I think is ideal. But with that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Let's bring Steven Nelson to Philadelphia, guys. Let's do it. And hope for the best for Zach Ertz and that he gets traded for Jordan Hicks. And then let's get some other defensive backs in here. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. You guys have a beautiful rest of your Tuesday evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. One love. Go Birds, baby.